Bruce's big call Dinar Intel Tuesday night the 3rd of September 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps. Welcome everybody to the big call tonight. It is Tuesday, September 2nd and you're listening to the big call. Thanks everybody for tuning in all over the globe. Wherever you're listening from, and we thank you for being here for quite some time now. We're in our 13th year, and we're just kind of like the Energizer Bunny, we just keep on going. And whereas we don't expect to be here much longer, with a live call, here we are tonight. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and pray the call in. Alright, guys, let's talk about where we stand in the Intel stage right now. Boy, last couple days, especially today, was really interesting because we were fairly quiet most of the day. A lot of the people that we go to or that we know of that are even tier 3 bondholders, were not getting their phone calls answered and they weren't getting callbacks to them either. And that's unusual. Some of these guys are players, and it's always interesting when people like that don't get called back, or don't get through when they're trying to call a person. This is because of the NDAs that people are under. Especially people tied to the bank and redemption centers, paymasters or the bondholders. All of that stuff is getting tighter and tighter now. Every once in a while, we get a nice burst of information from one or two sources. And this was a little different today, a little bit of a challenge. So previously to today, we were in the understanding as of yesterday. Which was Monday, which was a holiday, right? It was Labor Day here in the United States. But what we were getting was that we would get notified either of these two scenarios, either notified today and start exchanges Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Or get notified Wednesday and start exchanges Wednesday. Well, we didn't get notifications today. So the second half of that notified Wednesday morning and starting exchanges on Wednesday is in play. It's in play. It doesn't mean it's absolute, but it is the other information that we did receive yesterday. Now as far as today is concerned, bondholders are in here's a scenario. In some cases, they have received emails from 3 different banks, and those 3 banks are telling them they can look into their accounts and see the funds in those accounts. But if they needed one more email, which some of them do, that I'm aware of, they need one more email from a specific bank. Then until they receive that email from that bank, they can't gain access to any of their funds until that happens. So they are on hold in a shotgun start like we are on hold for our shotgun start until we get a toll-free number to call to get our appointment set. So I'm looking forward to something happening tomorrow. Hopefully that'll take place. Other side of it, we talked last time. I believe it was last Thursday, about AI being used for the call centers that we dial when we do get the 800 numbers, and so here's kind of how I'm hearing that it's going to go. So if we get an AI voice, we're all used to that now. Anyway, we enter in the information that the voice asks for, and then when we get our zip code entered and all that. When we get enough information, we will be transferred to a live, real person at the redemption center that is closest based on our zip code. So when you put your zip code in, put it in either based on where you go or based on where you work, or based on where you plan to exchange. Okay, put that zip code in so that it'll direct you to that redemption center that is closest to your zip code. Okay, that you have entered, that's a nice little added piece we got. And of course, I would much rather talk to a live person at the redemption center where I plan to go. Because it's very possible that same person will be greeting you at the redemption center and helping you with your redemption of ZIM and your exchange of currencies. If you have bonds other than the ZIM bond, which we talked about as being redeemed, if you have sheet bonds, bring those, let them know when you call to set your appointment at the redemption center level. Or they may ask you this. The AI person may ask you that as well, have sheet bonds. If that applies to you, let them know, because they're going to allow a little bit more time for your appointment. Because that's fact, and it's very important that you let them know exactly what you have so that they will allow enough time your full appointment. They want us in and out, overall average, in 25 to 35 minutes. I think some people it's going to be a real challenge. But most of us this is probably can get in and out in 2,535 minutes, and that's quite a few steps, that is a lot of steps. When I went to set up a certain bank, I think it took us an hour and a half set up one account. So I don't know about the world, with everything we've got. How we can get in and out of there in 25 to 35 minutes, but we'll see. They have been practiced. And practiced on doing these and working with the do that we machine. And I think it's going to be fun. It will be fun at some level. We will learn, and it'll be a fun experience, open. And I think you'll be hopefully thrilled with what happens when you walk out of the redemption center. Redemption center, not bank, because we know that our rates are going to be much higher on certain currencies at redemption center. For example, no ZIM will be redeemed at any bank, only the redemption centers with the toll-free number. They will offer you a contract rate which is quite high on the dinar. They will offer you that, and that's a positive win-win. Win for the bank or for the redemption center that is backed by Wells Fargo. And also for you and also for the country. So it's a win and win for everybody. But don't forget that. Let's see what else tonight. I'll tell you, I think everything is pointing toward this going still this week, and it's only Tuesday. I'm hoping tomorrow's our day to get everything done. Everything meaning, get our numbers, set our appointments, start exchanges, and we're out of there. Now this is really going to be good. Shall I touch on the medbeds? Medbeds are primarily ready to go in anywhere from 5 to 7 days after we exchange, depending on your situation. They are giving precedent preferential treatment, let's call it, to ZIM holders that have projects that plan to go 200 or 300 years to completion, or longer. And they also have in people that are in dire need, people that are really in bad shape, and they need that bed to get completely restored. You let them know, if that's you, you let them know that when you go into the redemption center to an Elkia/battle. Let me know that you are one of those people. Beyond that, is there anything else? I think, guys, it's been a long ride. We don't know if we're in our. Let me give you a little bit more information. Some of you may have experienced things at your bank that are unusual or somehow wrong. What's going on with bank? Some deposits are not giving you full access to your deposit. As you are used to, the quantum financial system is fully connected. But some banks are kind of wrestling with it a little bit. So I've heard of a couple things happening. I heard that Wells, as far as I've heard, something's happening at Chase. I can't verify that as being real, but I know that the banks are doing their best. Now I will say this. We have heard in the last few days that several banks have had major arrests going on in their banking system across the country. I don't know if it's just a couple of different banks, or all the banks, but they have signs up that they're hiring branch managers, wealth managers, tellers, all of that, new people, new blood. So that's very interesting to me, especially at this time when everything should be set. Redemption centers are fully staffed and so on. And we're looking forward to getting in and working with these redemption centers and getting everything that we need done. And if we need to come back to set up additional accounts for our trust or our LLCs. In my case, we can do that. We can come back and do that maybe a few days later. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So let's pray the call out. Well, good night everybody. Thank you Sue. Thank you Bob. Thank you GCK. Thank you Pastor Scott and Jeannie, and also much healing to you, continuing healing, Pastor Scott, and also thank you satellite team getting the call out around the globe with the Starlink satellite system. Thank you for that. And appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you Big Call Universe for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. God bless you all, everybody. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.